Dear friends, welcome you all in the series of English Literature MCQs. Today we have another session for you. So in this part number 4, we'll cover 100 more MCQs. So let's start our today's session. MCQ number 301. Oedipus complex is answer a son's attraction towards his mother. 302. My own great religion is a belief in the blood, the flesh, as being wiser than the intellect. Who wrote this? Answer is D.H. Lawrence. 303. Shakespeare makes fun of the Puritans in his play. Answer, Twelfth Night. 304. The rare erection is in virtue, that in vengeance. This line occurs in Answer, The Tempest. 305. Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice is a Answer, Domestic novel. 306. Heaven lies about us in our infancy. This line occurs in the poem Answer, Immortality Ode. 307. Wordsworth calls himself a worshipper of nature in his poem Answer, Tintin Abbey. 308. When Wordsworth's Immortality Ode was first published in 1802, it had only Answer, stanza 1 to 5. 309. Which method of narration has been employed by Dickens in his novel Great Expectations? Answer, direct or epic method. So 310. Who said Keats was a Greek? Answer is Samuel Taylor Coleridge. 311. D.J. Rousty was a true literary descendant of Answer is John Keats. 312. To which character in Hamlet does the following description apply? The tedious viceroy who meddles his way to his doom. Answer is Hamlet. 313. Browning's famous poem Rabib in Ezra is included in Answer, Dramatis Personae. 314. Samuel Taylor Coleridge was an associate of Answer, Royal Society of Literature. 315. Which of the following is an unfinished novel by Jane Austen? Answer, Sandition. 316. Why did Miss Havisham remain a spinster throughout her life in Great Expectations? Answer, she was arrogant. 317. William Butler Yeats received the Nobel Prize for Literature in the year 1923. 318. The Romantic revival in English poetry was influenced by the Answer, French Revolution. 319. The pre-Raphaelite poets were mostly indebted to the poets of the Answer, Romantic revival. 320. Oh, you are sick of self love, who is referred to in these words in 12th night? Answer is Malvolio. 321. Hamlet is Answer, a passionate lover. 322. Which of Shakespeare's characters exclaims, Brave New World? Answer, Miranda. 323. Paradise Lost shows an influence of Answer, Christianity and the Renaissance. 324. The style of Paradise Lost is Answer, more Latin than most poems. 325. In Pride and Prejudice, we initially dislike but later tend to like. Answer, Mr. Darcy. 326. Who in Hamlet suggests that one should neither be a lender nor a borrower? Answer, Polonius. 327. Shakespeare's Henry IV Part 1 contains his Answer, Patriotism. 328. Literary divisions are not always exact, but we draw them because they are the often convenient. The majority of English literary periods are named after Answer, monarchs or political events. 329. Which period of English literature came first? Answer, Restoration. So there was so many periods were given. Out of them, Restoration was the one that came first. 330. In which language did Shakespeare write? Answer: modern English. 331. Jane Austen wrote during this period. Regency. 332. Which work was published first? Answer: Blake's Songs of Innocence. 333. Which of the following works was written before the all important Battle of Hastings? Answer: Beowulf. 334. Who wrote first? Answer: Howard Earl of Surrey. Out of given, it was the Earl of Surrey. 335. Which work was completed lost? Answer: John Milton's Paradise Lost. 336. One of these men did not write during the Restoration period. Who? So, out of those, it was Sir Walter Scott. 337. The Bronte sisters wrote during this period. Answer is Victorian period. 338. Which of the following poets wrote during the Victorian period but was not published until the 20th century? Answer is Gerard Manley Hopkins. 339. This work was not originally published in the 20th century. Answer: Thomas Hardy's Tales of the Aberwiles. 340. Which poet did not write during the 16th century? Answer is Thomas Carroll. 341. Historical events often influence literature. Which of the following did not occur during the Restoration period? Answer: French Revolution. 342. Which of the following literary subperiods does not fall under the new classical period? Answer: Jacobean Age. 343. Which of the following periods of English literature came lost? Answer: the Commonwealth period. Again, out of the given periods, it was Commonwealth period. 334. This work was written before the other three choices. Answer: Bates and Ecclesiastical History of the English People. 345. World War I affected the writing of many authors. Which of the following poets would not have been touched by that event? Answer: Oscar Wilde. 346. The period of maturation, intellectual growth, and social graces during the Renaissance is called? Answer: Enlightenment. 347. The most popular French playwright, Jean Baptiste Poquelin, is known as? Answer: Molière. 348. The first English woman to earn her living as a playwright was? Answer: Ephra Behn. 349. In which century was Piers Plowman written? Answer: 14th century, a Middle English period. 350. Geoffrey Chaucer served which king? Answer: Edward III. This question has been asked in many exams. 355. Age of sensibility is also sometimes described as the? Answer: Age of Johnson. 358. The 18th century work Tom Jones was written by whom? Answer: Henry Fielding. 352. In 1905, Virginia Woolf began to write for which publication? Answer: The Times Literary Supplement. 353. Joyce's novel Ulysses takes place over what period of time? Answer: 24 hours. 354. What was the nationality of Oscar Wilde? He was Irish. So 355. Who wrote the poem Requiem? Answer: Robert Louis Stevenson. 356. The prevailing feature of Chaucer's humor is its? Answer: urbanity. 357. Who is the first great English critic poet? Answer: Sir Philip Sidney. 358. Hum to Adversity is a poem by? Answer: Thomas Gray. 359. Who wrote the poem The Seven Ages? Answer: William Shakespeare. 360. Who wrote the Storyteller? Answer is Saki. 361. Who wrote Reader, I Married Him? Answer: Charlotte Bronte. 362. Who wrote Things fall apart, the center cannot hold. Answer William Butler Yeats. 363. In which work do you read things fall apart, the center cannot hold? Answer Second Coming. 364. Who wrote Beauty is Truth, Truth Beauty? Answer John Keats. 365. In which work do you read Beauty is Truth, Truth Beauty? Answer Ode on Grecian Urn. 366. Who wrote En Zanado did Kubla Khan a stately pleasure dom decree? Answer Samuel Taylor Coleridge. 367. In which work do you read En Zanado did Kubla Khan a stately pleasure dom decree? Answer Kubla Khan. 368. A side note. Which drug substance was Samuel Taylor Coleridge addicted to? He was opium taker, so it was opium. 369. Who wrote I would prefer not to? Answer Herman Melville. 370. Who wrote there can be no freedom or beauty about a home life that depends on borrowing and debt? Answer Henrik Ibsen. 371. In which work do you read there can be the freedom of beauty about a home life that depends on borrowing and debt? Answer Doll's House. 372. Who wrote My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings? Look on my works, ye mighty and despair. Answer P.B. Shelley. 373. In which work do you read, My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings? Look on my works, ye mighty, and despair? Answer is Ozymandias. 374. Who wrote, That's my last dues, painted on the wall, looking as if she were alive? Answer Robert Browning. 375. In which work do you read, That's my last dues, painted on the wall, looking as if she were alive? Answer My Last Dukes. 376. Who wrote, I have measured out of my life with coffee spoons? Answer is T.S. Eliot. 377. In which work do you read, I have measured out my life with coffee spoons? Answer Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock. 378. It is the universal appeal. It can stand the taste of time and it makes connections. A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens involves which two cities? Answer London and Paris. 379. The Catcher in the Rye takes place in what city? Answer New York City. 380. Which book was not written by Jane Austen? Answer Sense and Sensibility. 381. What is Shakespeare's longest play? It's Hamlet. 382. The poem The Battle of Maldon celebrates events which took place in the 10th century, but who was it between? Answer Danes and English. 383. The Fairy Queen was written during the reign of which monarch? Answer Elizabeth Tudor. 384. Becky Sharp was the heroine in which novel? Answer Vanity Fair. 385. How many children were there in the Bront family? Answer 4. 386. Who composed the preludes? Answer William Wordsworth. 387. Who is termed as the morning star of Renaissance? Answer is Chaucer. 388. Who began the tradition of revenge play? Answer Thomas Kitt. 389. How many lines are there in a sonnet? Answer is 14. The first 8 lines of sonnet are called as octave, and the last 6 lines of sonnet are called as sestet. 390. Which are the names of the two feuding families in Romeo and Juliet? Answer Capulet and Montague. 391. Which bird did the ancient mariner kill? Answer Albatross. 392. What was the name of the Bronte sisters' only brother? Answer Branwell. 393. In which Country was Jane Austen born? Answer Hampshire. Hampshire at that time was country, now it's part of modern England. 394. In which Dickens novel does Pip appear? Answer Great Expectations. 395. Which of the following English groups were supportive of the French Revolution during its early years? Answer Liberals and Radicals. 396. Which statement or statements about inventions during the Industrial Revolution are true? Answer. Hand labor became less common with the invention of power driven machinery, and steam is opposed to wind and water became a primary source of power. 397. What is the name for the process of dividing land into privately owned agricultural holdings? Answer enclosure. 398. Which social philosophy dominant during the Industrial Revolution dictated that only the free operation of economic laws would ensure the general welfare and that the government should not interfere in any person's pursuit of their personal interests? Answer laissez-faire. 399. What served as the inspiration for Percy Bysshe Shelley's poem To the Working Classes, a song. Men of England and England in 1890. Answer the Petroloo Massacre. MCQ number 400. Who applied the term romantic to the literary period dating from 1785 to 1830? English historians half a century after the period ended, which poets collaborated on the lyrical ballads of 1798, thus demonstrating the spirit of the age, which in an era of revolutionary thinking depended on a belief in the limitless possibilities of the poetic imagination. So it was, those were the William Wordsworth and Samuel Taylor Coleridge. So that's all for today. Hope you will get reasonable information from this session of today. So it's goodbye till another session. But before saying you goodbye, I have a very polite request that please do subscribe our channel if you haven't subscribed it as yet, so that our future coming videos may you may know about them. So till the next time, have a very nice time. It's goodbye.